How are we doing, guys? Here are my top 10 Final Fantasy X tips for beginners and anyone just starting their journey through Spira. On my first ever playthrough, I wish I'd have known some of these. They would have saved me a massive amount of time, frustration and unnecessary grinding. These tips will help you progress more smoothly, feel more confident during battles, and avoid the common mistakes that many new players make. Whether you're playing the HD Remaster or the original version, these will absolutely help you get the most out of the game. So let's dive into Spira and jump straight into the list. Number 1. Swapping party members constantly. One of the biggest beginner mistakes is sticking with the same 3 characters the entire game. In Final Fantasy X, only characters who take an action during battle receive the AP. That means even if a character simply defends once, they will still gain the experience, so make it a habit to rotate everyone in during the random encounters, even if it feels slow at first. Doing this keeps the entire party evenly leveled instead of having 2 or 3 strong characters and everyone falling behind. When boss fights happen and a game forces certain characters into your party, you'll be thankful that they're not underleveled. Also help you learn how every character plays, which makes combat feel more strategic and a lot flexible later on. Number 2. Manipulate the turn order. Final Fantasy X uses a fully turn-based system instead of the traditional ATB system, which means you always have time to think. There is no pressure to mash buttons or rush your decisions. Pay close attention to the turn order display on the screen. It will show exactly who is acting next and how often enemies will attack. Here's a great trick many players miss. Opening the equipment menu and re-equipping a weapon or armor can shift the turn order. The same goes for using items. Sometimes wasting a turn actually gives you a better position in the turn queue. You can use this to delay dangerous enemies, set up buffs, or safely heal before an enemy attacks. Once you start mastering the turn manipulation, combat becomes much more tactical and controlled. Number 3. Stealing everything with Rikku. When you unlock Rikku, she becomes one of the most powerful utility characters in the game. Her steal, use, and especially mix abilities are incredibly strong. Many enemies carry rare items that you won't normally get until much later. Things like elemental gems can deal massive damage early in the game and make difficult encounters a lot easier. Stealing also saves you a lot of gil because you won't need to buy as many items from the shops, and on top of that, experimenting with the mix combinations can lead to some insanely powerful effects. Healing, buffs, or just huge damage. If you enjoy experimenting and discovering hidden mechanics, Rikku is an absolute goldmine. Number 4. Grind smart, not hard. Grinding is a part of any RPG, but in Final Fantasy X it's most efficient to grind in the area that you are currently progressing through. These enemies are tuned perfectly for your level and give you the best AP return for your time. Fights with multiple enemies are even better because each enemy gives AP, so if you're fighting 3 enemies at once, that's essentially triple progress. Use the save spheres frequently so you can safely push a little further without fear of losing the progress. Even gaining just a few extra sphere grid nodes can dramatically increase your survivability, damage and speed. A small amount of smart grinding early can save you hours of frustration later. Number 5. Early Aeons can heal themselves. Your early Aeons are much stronger than most beginners realise. Each elemental Aeon can heal itself using its own element. For example, Shiva can use ice to heal herself, Ifrit can use fire to heal itself, and Ixion can use lightning to heal itself. This makes them incredibly durable in longer fights, especially against enemies that don't counter their element. Aeons can act as tanks, healers, and heavy damage dealers all in one, so don't be afraid to summon them during tough encounters or boss fights. They can often carry you through the dangerous situations. Number 6. Always aim for overkills. Overkilling enemies gives you double AP and extra gil, which means faster leveling and more money for gear and items. Learning how much damage your abilities deal helps you plant overkills more consistently. Overdrives that hit multiple enemies are especially valuable for farming. For example, using Wakka's elemental reels on grouped enemies can stack huge AP gains very quickly. And over time, consistently landing overkills will dramatically speed up your sphere grid progress. It's one of the best habits that you can build early in the game. Number 7. Don't run from battles, flee or escape. It can be tempting to escape random encounters, especially if you're rushing to the next story objective, but skipping fights hurts you long term. The difference between fighting 20 battles versus 40 battles before a boss is enormous. The extra AP directly translates into higher stats, better survivability, and more reliable damage output. Those extra battles also help you learn enemy behaviours, enemy weaknesses, and combat strategies. All of that knowledge makes later areas feel so much more manageable. Trust me, most difficult boss fights feel hard simply because the party is underleveled. Number 8. Use weapons with sensor. Weapons with the sensor ability are incredibly useful, especially early game. Sensor shows enemy HP, elemental weaknesses, resistances, and immunities. As long as one active character has sensor equipped, the information appears for every enemy on the battlefield. This allows you to quickly identify what attacks to use instead of guessing or wasting turns testing different elements. It speeds up fights and helps you avoid accidentally healing enemies with the wrong element. Once you start using sensor consistently, battles become far more efficient and less risky. Number 9. Watch camera angles for hidden chests. Final Fantasy X uses fixed camera angles, and the developers loved hiding treasures in sneaky spots. Sometimes only a small portion of a chest is visible on screen, a corner, a shadow, or a slight movement in the background. Always take a second to scan the edges of the screen. Talk to every NPC as well, because many of them give you useful items, weapons, or hints. Some hidden chests contain a large amount of gil, which helps you afford better equipment and stock up on supplies without grinding for money. Exploration really pays off in this game. Number 10. Haste is your best friend. In my opinion, Haste is the strongest white magic spell in Final Fantasy X, and maybe the entire series. Doubling your number of turns give you more damage, more healing, more buffs, and more control over the battlefield. It's basically a power multiplier for your entire party. Look at the turn order before casting Haste and then compare it to afterward. You'll immediately see how much the advantage gives you. Whenever possible, keep your party hasted during difficult fights. It can completely change the outcome of battle. And for a final tip, save in multiple slots. Final Fantasy X is very linear, and there are several moments where you can't backtrack for a very long time. Saving in multiple slots protects you from missing important items, side content, or optional objectives. If you ever realise you skipped something valuable, you can simply reload an earlier save instead of restarting the entire game. It only takes a few extra seconds to rotate your save files, and it can save you dozens of hours later. Think of it as a safety net for your playthrough. And that's my top 10 beginner tips for Final Fantasy X. If you have any additional tips or tricks that helped you, drop them in the comments. I'd love to see what worked for you. If this video helped you out, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more content. And I'll see you guys in the next one.